Coolio was actually in the movie. He was like the
Yep.
guy running the racing thing.
Yeah. He was actually very well cast in this movie because he was living in a gangster's paradise.
Welcome to Tairimo Boys Podcast. I'm your host Cody. With me in second chair is the boy who carries a back credit card everywhere he goes. It's Jeremy.
I'm so glad I got the back credit card.
That's forever, you know. With me in third chair is the boy who fights ice and plant-based supervillains all the time. It's Ryan.
What's up, everybody?
Ryan, will we be reviewing one of your favorite movies of all time today?
Yes, you will.
For all the wrong reasons, right?
Uh-huh.
Indeed.
So, Batman and Robin, fourth in what's it called, a quadrilogy or something in the 90s?
Quadrilogy.
Yep, there we go. It's basically the movie that kind of killed Batman for a while. But like a phoenix, it rose from the ashes in a blaze of glory.
This review is either going to be really fun or really sad.
Well, it's either
I
going to
feel like a bit
be
of both.
it's either going to be Turbo Boy Certified Sad or Turbo Boy Certified Fun. So, let's get into the movie. Batman and Robin came out in 1997. For anyone who isn't aware, it's the movie with Mr. Freeze in it. So that should tell you if you're aware of all the memes and stuff. So, Jeremy, what are your first thoughts on this movie?
Do you guys remember when Alfred was crying in the beginning? I was also crying with Alfred. Not for his, the same reasons, but just because I had to rewatch this. And yes, I have seen this as a child. Everything came flooding back to me as soon as I started watching it.
Ryan, first thoughts?
I understand, given how much time has passed and how maligned this movie has been, that maybe some people have now found a certain charm to this movie, but I hate this movie. I hate the acting. I hate the story. I hate the characters. I hate that your blood can apparently be replaced with chlorophyll and aloe, and you can not only survive, but gain a British accent for one scene.
Well said.
I despise this movie. I hate that it looks like the reboot of the Munsters from Rob Zombie a few years ago.
We're starting off strong on this one. Let's go.
Joel Schumacher really with Ryan. For mine, here's the thing. Whenever I started watching this movie, it's like I was thinking, it's like, is this movie like fun and we don't know it? And then there's something that drags the movie down. I think ruined the whole movie, and I'll be getting into that as we go on. It's
And the
there's,
camera started rolling.
Yeah, there's quite a few things
I,
that
I
killed
mean,
this one.
it's supposed to be a campy movie, and here's your little fun fact: like during shooting, like Joel Schumacher was constantly screaming at people. This is supposed to be a cartoon.
I'd rather watch the cartoon.
Yeah, well, you know who said that? It was that mad scientist guy. And if you're unaware, the mad scientist guy, he played the Riddler. Well, he voiced the Riddler in Batman the Animated Series.
Don Glover.
But
Also
this
Lionel Luthor in Smallville.
studio meddling got this movie because they wanted something that they could turn into like toys. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, I was having fun when the movie first started, and that's when Batman and Robin are doing like the hockey fight with Mr. Freeze.
It goes on way too long.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Literally, the problem with this movie is the scripting and the directing. Like the
Ripped. Nail on the head. The script of this movie is awful.
now, tell me what you boys think of this. I think what really ruins this movie is Poison Ivy.
100% agree. Her plan is fucking stupid. Why is she going to team up with a guy that's literally, they impose the idea, let's bring a new ice age. How are your plants going to grow in the ice age?
So I think they were supposed to be like ice resistant, but at least when the ice age is over, then she'll be. But Ryan, what do you think?
About the plants?
No, did
Poison Ivy.
Yeah, did Poison Ivy ruin this movie? Do you think?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Miscast.
I'm gonna get into that a little later in a different section.
I don't know if miscast is the thing. Like I think the casting of this was like really good. It's like it's just the entire script of it. Whenever we got Mr. Freeze on screen, you have all this campy silliness and there's action, And then anytime like Poison Ivy's on screen, it's just a slow Batman and Robin fighting because they're simping over her. It just slows the whole movie down.
Cody, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on the cast. I am not spot on for this cast, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
But we'll be doing Fix It Boys later. We'll discuss Fix in the movie. But anyways, let's get into the cast. Jeremy, you go ahead and be all complaining.
Well, I'm gonna do it anyway. So, all right, I'm perfectly fine with a lot of this cast. I'm not sold, and I want to hear your boys' opinion on this. I am not sold with George Clooney as Batman. Bruce Wayne, 100%. He plays the rich playboy well. But as Batman, did you see enough of Batman George Clooney to sell you guys on him?
I think he made a fine Batman. I just didn't care for his Bruce Wayne a bit. I think he just didn't have the look for it. Looked a little too gray, if you ask me. I think this goes back to what I said. I think the script spent way too much time with Batman and Robin fighting over Poison Ivy for us to get like George Clooney doing good as Batman.
Agreed.
I think with a much better script, much better writing, probably could be a top contender for Batman. However, there were many times during this movie where I would watch him and feel like I was watching the Adam West. Like, wow, he looks like Adam West in this shot.
Well said. As far as the other people I have to give credit where credit is due. I personally loved Arnold as Mr. Freeze. Hated the script 1,000%, but I thought he could have been a very, very good cast. And then, of course, Poison Ivy was just no.
He fits really well with the campy, and like the makeup they did on him was just absolutely amazing. Like when it comes to like special effects and stuff, makeup, all that, there's nothing wrong with that in this movie because they do an amazing job.
Agreed. And also get rid of Batgirl.
Yeah, I felt like she added like nothing to the movie. They were just trying to sell more toys to girls.
Jeremy, yeah, when this movie first came out, I wasn't into Arnold as Mr. Freeze. But rewatching the movie, I really started to, and I hate myself for making a pun already. I started to warm up to him as Mr. Freeze.
There we go.
He makes a good campy freeze. I don't know if
I
he'd make
think
a
he does.
good serious freeze, but
I will say this: I liked him as Victor Freeze in the like flashbacks when he wasn't talking. I thought he made a good like Victor Freeze too, before the accident.
yeah.
I think the script just did him such injustice. I think he could have been a good serious Mr. Freeze. But yeah, that's some of my major beefs with the cast.
Yeah, like I said, stellar cast. It's just they got the short end of the script stick.
Boy, they did.
Basic story for everyone at home. Look, I remember when this movie came out, and I remember as a kid talking to Ryan. It's like, oh, so excited for this, and it came out. I liked it as a kid because I didn't know any better, but yeah, as you get older, you realize just how bad of a movie this is.
I forgot. Here is a not a Tairimo Boys fun fact, just a Ryan fun fact. This is the only Batman movie I've never seen in a theater. Not because I didn't want to see it. I think I was sick when it came out, and then it didn't come out into the movie theater that was close by us. Looking back, I saved at least $10.
And you didn't have to cry like Alfred.
Yep.
Well, you can always go to George Clooney because he refunds anyone who saw this movie in theaters.
I wrote him.
Did you get your money back though? Your fake money?
Nope. Nope. I got a nice restraining order though.
You know who we haven't talked about? Bane.
Bane.
Where to start with this guy?
Well, how about his dialogue? Got nothing on Tom Hardy.
Nothing. Oh, they did Bane dirty in this. But with that being said, I love the character. I'm not gonna lie. That yes, they butchered him, but god damn it, it gave me enough of a chuckle.
I don't think so. If you're unaware, Bane was created in like the '90s, a few years before this movie, and then the movie comes around and just completely butchers him. Like I said, if I really wish they would have cut Poison Ivy out of the movie and done a lot more with Bane.
Yep.
Does everybody feel that he looks more comic accurate than the one from the Nolan movie?
Something artist interpretation, something. The big thing that always got me was just how green he looks. But yeah, they do the whole him blowing up and everything.
I like the comic accurate part. The more green he gets, the less I like the idea. But other than that, I was fine with it.
You know what else we have to address? Bat nips.
Oh god, this is a long time coming.
Who thought that was a good idea?
They put nips on all the goddamn costumes for our quote unquote heroes.
Except for one person.
you,
One of the trio did not get nipples.
you couldn't even do that back then, Ryan.
They came pre-equipped.
You gotta wonder if that's kind of a way to appeal to chicks. Or maybe just to look sillier for the cartoony vibe they were going for.
You know, if you want a cartoon, just watch the animated series. It was done properly.
Yep. Jeremy, when was the last time you saw Batman Forever?
Long, long time ago. Don't remember a ton from it.
Brian, you've probably seen it recent, somewhat recently at
Oh,
least.
it's
Right?
been forever. When was the last time I saw it? It's been a while.
It's been too long. Let me put it that way.
Are you saying we should review that next?
I might be hinting at it.
No, we gotta jump into Deadpool. But it's amazing how when you're watching like the '90s Batman movies, it starts out like really serious. I mean, it could be a little campy with Batman, and Batman Returns, but as soon as you get to Forever, it becomes really campy, and then you get to this one, and it's just
Over the top campy.
yeah, funhouse campy at that point. Got to sell those toys.
Merchandising, merchandise.
And here's your little fun fact too. There was supposed to be another Batman movie after
Yep.
this one.
One was Howard Stern as Scarecrow.
I've read a bunch of different stuff about Scarecrow. I read that they wanted Jeff Goldblum to be Scarecrow. I read Nicolas Cage. Coolio, another Scarecrow. Coolio was actually in the movie. He was like the
Yep.
guy running the racing thing.
Yeah. He was actually very well cast in this movie because he was living in a gangster's paradise.
Well said. Jeff Goldblum would be interesting as a scarecrow. In the 90s Jeff Goldblum? I would have been all for that.
Oh, and they were also going to put Harley Quinn in the movie too. The idea behind it was Scarecrow would use his fear toxin and cause like all the past villains to return. So you'd probably get a bunch of Jack Nicholson, Joker too.
What a shame what could have been.
I don't know.
I don't know.
After this
With as
one.
campy as a script as this was, I can't imagine a Harley Quinn after this. There'd be no way.
But yeah, this movie. I'm not gonna say the movie bombed. They said it bombed via critics because here's the thing about the movie: the budget of it was between 125 million and 160 million. It made 238 million, and I bet when it came to VHS sales and all that, it was probably extremely high, probably another 100 million from that. But they decided to pull the plug after all the critic reviews, and they also toyed around with a Batman Year One movie and also a Batman Beyond movie, but they
Oh, thank God.
never
Thank
got
God
it.
they
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see a Batman Beyond movie, but I don't want to see a Batman Beyond movie that's campy.
No. That would have destroyed part of my childhood.
So normally I'd ask, what are your boys' favorite scenes? But
I actually do have one.
okay, well, fine. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I thought really long and hard about this because most of the scenes just wind up being horrible. When Batman and Robin first encounter Mr. Freeze and they have that stupid hockey fight for way too long. When Mr. Freeze escapes and he uses that like little, I don't know what it is, little rocket, shoots him out of the building and Batman's hanging on or whatever. Did you guys feel like that was the Willy Wonka elevator? Because I was singing the song in my head.
Yeah, I kind of got that vibe from that.
I sang it the whole scene and it ruined the scene for me in a good way.
I
There we
mean,
go. I found one.
yeah, that scene, the whole hockey fight. Yeah, Jeremy, it does go on long, but it's probably the best scene in the movie, and it's the beginning of the movie before all the simping over Poison Ivy happens.
Agreed.
I did like the usually the scenes where Bruce is talking to Alfred. I did like that.
Those are touching, heartfelt moments.
And there were some scenes where I would like flashback to me being a kid sitting in our grandparents' living room watching the 60s Batman show.
Even more heartfelt moments. I love it.
So it wasn't all that bad.
Oh, it wasn't all bad.
Nostalgia also plays a big part in this for me. Grew up on DC Comics. Batman was one of the first comics I ever had. So, again, nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
But anyways, the question I was going to ask is the best scene. If you could have one vehicle that's not the Batmobile in this movie, what would it be?
Any of the dirt bikes or sport bikes.
You're going to be bland then.
I am not going to say that contraption that Freeze drives.
Well, I am.
I know it. I'm not going to say.
Freaking freeze gun on it and spike missiles. Like, I'll take that damn tank.
Definitely not this Batmobile, though.
I said no Batmobile because that's it. That's too easy. What about you, Ryan?
I was also going to say Barbara Gordon's motorcycle, or Barbara, whatever her last name is motorcycle.
Pennyworth.
Barbara, not Gordon.
Yeah, right? That's also very hard for me to get over.
I don't know why they changed that.
There was no need to change it.
Yeah, just make her Gordon's daughter or niece or something. I don't care. It was completely unnecessary. Same thing with Bane. They didn't need to do this really weird thing, but they did. I think they just wanted to give Alfred more of an attachment, so they were going with the plot with him being sick and all. Right. Well, we don't get to do boob bonanza this week because there was no boobs in the movie, but you know what we do get to do? We get to do some boys in action. So, Jeremy, if you were in this movie, where would you die?
I would have died in the hockey fight scene. I would have been there roughing it up with the boys. I would have slipped and fell on my face, cracked my head.
The Batcowl wasn't protective enough for you, huh?
No, there's not much padding in that thing.
Ryan?
When Poison Ivy kissed me, I would have gone for it. I'd be gone.
Was it worth it?
Totally.
As for me, I'm going to kind of agree with Jeremy. I would have died during the... Well, actually, I would have died before the hockey fight could even started, because you remember when Batman slides down that dinosaur? Well, Freeze would have pulled up his ice gun, shot me with it, I would have fell off and shattered on the ground.
Batsicles.
That was other boys in action.
Always a fun one.
Yeah, well, here's just some more fun. It's time for Fix It Boys. I don't know, we've named this segment one time before, but we do it so rarely that I'm just going to call it Fix It Boys. If the name changes in the future, well, tough luck.
Subject to change.
Hopefully we do this one sticks. But, so, Jeremy, if you had to fix this movie, how would you fix it?
We've hit pretty much everything nail on the head. I would definitely get rid of the script, make it less campy. I get you want to put comic relief in and things like that. That's fine. I don't need a one-liner or the punchline after every single sentence, especially from Mr. Freeze. Get rid of Poison Ivy entirely and Batgirl. And you know what? You can bring in any other villain. I don't care who it is. Just anything, but just get rid of Batgirl. Get rid of Poison Ivy.
Ryan?
Story time. I don't know if I can really give an unbiased answer to this because I don't know if you remember the dark times before The Flash was released in theaters. 2 weeks before that movie opened, there was a rumor going around. Everybody knows that I am emotionally attached to Michael Keaton as Batman. So about 2 weeks before The Flash was released, there was a rumor going around that they had cut every one of his scenes. And so I, being rational and mature, got really upset and thought, son of a bitch, they're going to take Michael Keaton away from me a second time. So I was like, you know what? The guy wants to be Batman still. I'm just going to write a script myself for a third Michael Keaton Batman movie. And so I had this idea to write a third Michael Keaton Batman movie, which was basically a 2-hour long adaptation of the Batman the Animated Series episode, Heart of Ice. So there would only be one. Well, I would get rid of Poison Ivy. There would only be Mr. Freeze, except for a prelude featuring an appearance from the very fearsome villain, Condiment King. And I'd get rid of Poison Ivy, Bane, and it would just be him versus Mr. Freeze. No funny ice puns. There would be like more serious Shakespeare. I don't know the right word. Shakespearean
That's the right
ice puns, I guess you could say. It'd be played a little bit more serious, obviously, in the vein of Keaton's other two Batman movies. So I guess that's how I would have fixed it, but I was gonna fix it in 2022.
Well,
There
Ryan,
you go.
at least you got to see Michael Keaton Batman die a whole bunch more times than that.
Yep. And they weren't even going to do a third Batman movie since The Flash underperformed. Thanks, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, thanks, Warner Brothers.
They were going to make a Batman Beyond with Keaton, and then The Flash underperformed, and so they axed it.
That sucks so much because that's a dream. That's another dream movie come true for me if that were to happen.
Yeah.
Ryan, I have to ask you, who would play Mr. Freeze in your version?
In my version, I don't know anymore. If this were 1997, my pick would have been the obvious one, Patrick Stewart.
Oh,
Um,
he was originally he was one of the people playing for Freeze. They had Hulk Hogan, Patrick Stewart, I think Patrick Swayze,
yeah,
and Christopher Lloyd originally,
yeah,
but they ended up going with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
yeah. I guess maybe Mark Strong, who was I can't remember what his name was in Kingsman. He was the bald guy in Kingsman that was their
Merlin.
ally. Merlin, thank you. Maybe I'd go with him.
Ooh,
I don't
that'd
know.
be a
I'm
good
not sure.
choice.
We took like a really radical approach with Fix It Boys here. Okay, now since I'm the last one, I've got to deal with this. If you wanted to stick with this campy thing, then yeah, get rid of Poison Ivy and do more with Bane. But they could have done what Ryan did and pivoted more towards a serious approach. Like, yeah, just like we had Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. Okay, let's get back to being serious. I mean, these boys have said it best already. I've got nothing more. All right, Jeremy, best topic onto you.
Whose one-liners were more painful, or punchlines? Freeze or Poison Ivy?
Uh, um, Poison Ivy.
Yeah,
God, yeah,
at least
that
I got
was painful.
at least I got a little chuckle out of the Freeze stuff. A little chuckle, little, little.
Again, I'm gonna say it again. I don't think he was a bad cast for Freeze. I enjoyed him as Freeze. I just didn't like the forced punchlines. Like if they would have toned it down just a wee bit, you can give him some icy punchlines. That's fine, but not after every sentence. Would have been a great cast for me.
They're being campy, Jeremy.
I know it just doesn't work in a Batman movie for me. That's all I got.
Ryan, best topic onto you.
What's everybody's favorite pun?
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Girl was watching that, looked right over at me and went, "That is not even close to true."
Well, a meteor came and threw toxic dust in the air, and the dinosaurs slowly died off. Did you really want that pun from Mr. Freeze?
Actually, yes, I kind of do.
We're spiteful. We want it. Let's kick some ice. It was painful to sit through, but I got a chuckle out of it.
Anyways, Jeremy, final thoughts?
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. Rewatching this again, like I said, I was crying with Alfred. I can't give this one the Tairimo Voice Certified Fun, even though nostalgia is part of it. You gotta see it once, though.
Ryan, final thoughts?
God, I miss Michael Keaton.
As for me, like I've already said, the movie's just kind of completely ruined by Poison Ivy being in it. And with
And
Thurman,
Batgirl.
yeah, find enough actors. Scripting was just bad and completely slowed the movie down. You won't find a worse Batman movie.
Or
But,
Batsuit.
but anyways, that brings us to our next topic: scaling time. So, Jeremy, on a typical Batman scale of The Dark Knight to Batman and Robin, where would you rank this?
Batman and Robin.
Ryan, do you want to differentiate?
No.
Okay. Well, everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of Terrible Boys Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us how much you hate this movie. Don't forget to ring that motherfucking bell. Stay tuned for more episodes.